welcome to another late night edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 plus years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from that police perspective, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload a video. And tonight we're going to talk about the Casey White and Vicky White case. Again, we know that Vicky White succumbed to her self-inflicted gunshot wound, her injuries. That's been confirmed just a short time ago. So we sent out prayers to her parents, to her mom, and her surviving family. You never want to see an ending like this, but when you play with fire, you sometimes get burned. So take that as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not going to be live too long because this is number 3. This is the broadcast number 3 for the day. So I want to say a special thank you to the Patreon supporters, the channel members, everybody who positively engages here in the Crime Time with DutyRon community. You guys are what makes it great. So thank you so, so much. Again, I got police audio. I'm going to play it for you. You're going to let me know if you can hear it good. Again, we don't have answers. We're not going to get answers to anything anytime soon. Tomorrow should be a pretty big news conference. Not sure of the time, but again, the way I got it from my U.S. Marshal source is that, vehicle was identified. Again, we have this heroic manager at the car wash. He should be commended. We're going to show a little clip from Brian Enton on that. And he says something in the clip that is amazing. Guys, you have heard me and Ed say this a million times. If you see something, say something. And that's what we're going to hear this manager of that car wash. He saw something. He said something. He did the right thing, led the marshals onto these two, and the rest is history. So that's what we got going on. Let's play this quick clip with Brian Enton.
James, I want to bring you in, James, because James, and I'm going to have you stay close to me because the microphone is going to pick you up. James is the person who literally solved this entire thing, and it's awesome to have you with us right now. He is the manager at the car wash, and he first spotted Vicky and Casey at the car wash when their truck was discovered there. That was earlier this week. James, walk us, and you haven't spoken to anyone yet, and so no one has really heard your story. We've seen the surveillance video. Walk us through what happened at the beginning of the week, how you first spotted this truck at your car wash here in Evansville.
Okay, how it went down, I noticed the car hanging out of the bay, which is unusual. It kept sitting there. This is on the 3rd on Tuesday. Every time I leave, the truck's still been there. I come back, still there. Next morning, I get up at 6 o'clock to take my granddaughter to school. It's still there. I take her to school at Bossy. Get back at 7:30. The truck's still there. I walk up to the truck, and I think, oh, my God, this is probably this guy from Alabama. And I walk and look in the truck because I think he could be dead, passed out, who knows. And so I backed up, and then I opened the door. The keys are in. I started up, the truck ran. I got away. I Googled the local police department's phone number because I didn't want to call 911. Send the cop out. The cop comes out and he said, well, there ain't nothing I can do. It's not reported stolen. He run the plates. So then he left. He come back. He looked in it again. He found a gun lock in the seat. He said, oh my God, there's a gun lock, but there ain't no guns around. So he left. Then he said, just do what you got to do. I called Tri-State Tow and had it towed.
And this was on Wednesday.
That's on Wednesday.
And when did you see the video and say, this guy looks like Casey White? Was that on Wednesday also?
No, that was on yesterday, Sunday.
That was yesterday.
U.S. Marshal Service called me. They sent me a text message called from Alabama. And they said, I heard you got a truck towed. I said, I did. I said, that's that guy from Alabama. He said, yes, it is. So he said, I got U.S. Marshals coming to you even as I speak. And they didn't show up till this morning.
James, if it wasn't for you looking at that video, calling the police, this may not have ended like this.
The U.S. Marshal said not to show what they're driving because I've got her picking him up on surveillance on my cameras. And I told him, I called him back. I said, I got her. She's still with him. She picked him up. And he said, we think they're still in the Evansville area. Obviously they are. So
yeah, and you told me earlier you knew what kind of car they fled in, but you weren't going to put that out because you didn't want to compromise
They asked me not to. The marshals asked me not to.
And the way this ended now, I mean, a chase, it's upside down. What do you make of that?
I knew it's how it's going to end. I knew it. Either that or one local cop could have pulled him over. He would have shot and killed him. It took a team of law enforcement to do this. So.
Well, great work, James. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's people like you who solve these things.
If you see something, say something.
See something, say something. It shows that it works.
Is that amazing that he just said that? I love it.
To meet you, it's people like you who solve these things.
If you see something, say something.
See something, say something. It shows that it works.
It works.
So thank you, James. Great work. So you heard from James himself, basically here in Evansville, Indiana. He spotted the truck earlier this week, went and looked at his surveillance video at the car wash that he works at, realized that it was Casey and Vicky White, alerted U.S. Marshals. That brought all the attention here to Evansville, Indiana, about 217 miles from Florence, Alabama, where all of this started. And then you had this police chase that happened today. Police knew what they were looking for because James, he told them the vehicle that they left in from his car wash because they had dropped the truck, got into a new car, started pursuing that vehicle. We're told it was a high-speed chase, went through several different yards. And it ended right here near the airport in Evansville, Indiana. The latest from the sheriff is that Vicky and Casey White are in custody, that Vicky White is in the hospital with injuries sustained from a gunshot wound. And the sheriff in Alabama said that he hopes that Vicky does survive this so they can get some of the answers that they want in this whole ordeal that has been going on for over a week.
Thank you.
So as we know, Vicky succumbed to her self-inflicted gunshot wound. And if anybody was to get a reward, it should be that gentleman there. That man deserves that reward wholeheartedly, hands down, 100%. Kathy, thank you so much for the super chat sticker. Much appreciated. And thank you so much for all of the engagement here. You guys are what makes this great. And when you leave comments down below and you give a thumbs up on the video, unbeknownst to you, you're helping with the algorithm. You're helping to get the channel moving along. I Love Labs. Good to see you. Fuzzy Doxy, thanks for joining. All right, what we're going to listen to next is going to be some audio from Scanner Audio. And just I want you guys to help me out here because I never did this before. So I want you to give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear this audio. If you can hear this, just play a 1.
1, 2, 3. Just to confirm, is Kelly in a vehicle pursuit?
Can you guys hear that?
They're not currently in pursuit. I believe they're just following it. Charcoal gray Cadillac.
Joey Brooklyn, anybody? Okay, cool. All right, so that means we can hear it. Excellent. So this is the first time for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up some video. I'm going to just set up video to go along with this audio so you guys can kind of watch a little bit of something here, a little something as we listen to this. And this will just be playing in the background. So hold on a second. All right, here we go. All right, so I just wanted to set this up for you because this is a decent length of video. Let me just get it full screen. Hold on. All right, cool. All right, let me share this with you guys. There's going to be no sound on this. All right. So this is going to be the actual audio from. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is the actual audio from today. All right, folks. So let me figure out how to do this. Hold on a second. Stand by. You know, DutyRon is challenged.
Sorry about that. We are.
All right, here we go. I got to minimize this. Bear with me a second. Hold on, guys.
So we're just going to watch here.
This is not cooperating. All right, here we go. All right, so this is going to be scanner audio in the background playing. This is the chase. I'm going to just show you a map of this afterwards, but here it is. Here's the audio.
William 23, just to confirm, is County vehicle pursuit?
They're not currently in pursuit. I believe they're just following it. Charcoal gray Cadillac.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me just read that out.
Clear.
Caroline
Control
Basketeer.
report on this. I'll be en route from the middle and first.
Thank you for the super chat.
I'm clear. They're just wanting
So she
many
says
cars as they can in the area.
she says they're just following the vehicle. We'll let the rest of this play.
We'll be en route. Dispatch, we got anything else on this run other than the vehicle?
Negative. 3 David 5-1 called in, and all we have on there is the vehicle description.
This is from the scene today.
Let's try to get more information from County on that, please.
Clear. Same 6. I believe they said they were getting ready to run. They're on belly ops if you want to try to get more. 3851, direction of travel.
41 in front of Whirlpool.
Yeah, it was the Cadillac.
Lock, we're coming up to St. George.
St. George.
Top 6 up.
6.
St. George, northbound on 41.
All right, here's it starting now.
1 through St. George, northbound 41.
This is when the pursuit starts.
Bound 41, approaching St. George. Top 6 are out.
Speed 70.
Approaching Petersburg, speed 70. 70 approaching Petersburg.
They were traveling 70 miles an hour.
Clear, approaching Petersburg.
Through Petersburg, northbound 41. And available setting of hard car. Passing the old Ramada.
All right, they're just giving where they're passing the old
Clear,
Ramada.
passing the old Ramada.
Passing the old Ramada.
Pursuit's now passing the old Ramada. Stop 6 at 57 and 41.
I believe spike strips were used. And
Approaching 57.
and then they rolled. This
306 on dispatch.
this footage is from the crime scene.
Anchor
From the scene.
Industries.
And going through Anchor Industries, 3 Adam 6.
Just go ahead and notify ISP. If they have a question, they can call my my cell phone.
I'm clear.
Radio, clear the channel. In Anchor Industries parking lot.
Clear on in Anchor Industries parking lot.
Here we go. Can you guys hear this okay?
At the south side of Anchor parking lot. East side of the parking lot heading south.
He was probably high. That's why she was driving.
41.
Here we go.
And approaching 41.
Coming back towards Baumgart.
Clear and approaching bomb.
Open the area.
Clear.
Yes, she did.
Bomb guard.
Down. Crashed out.
Crashed out. That's
Yeah.
the crash. Vicky was driving.
Crashed out in an open field along bomb guard. They're calling you to 911. Just want to make clear he's still inside the vehicle. Clear on, he's crashed out, still inside the vehicle.
Crashed out. They're still inside the vehicle.
No, still going to be in the vehicle. We believe we possibly have him on 911.
Vicky White called 911 from the
One
vehicle.
with an AMR for probably multiple AMRs, 32.
Clear on AMR, he shot himself.
They say he shot himself because they weren't sure of it.
Over here.
Any unit on this, can you give us a good location?
She definitely put people.
By Baumgarten 41 in open field.
This is the open field, and there's the
Gonna
vehicle.
be 41 and come east on Birch.
41 east on Birch.
You're going to the 2 AMRs.
2 AMR.
Volunteer fire is coming in from the north.
Volunteer fire coming in from the north. This is the call for fire now.
5 Adam 50. And we could hear her on the line saying she had her finger on the trigger.
Okay, we can hear her on the
And
line.
field off Baumgarten Birch.
She has the finger on the trigger. This is what she told them.
Shot victim. Female is still armed. Male apparently has shot himself. Female still armed.
This was wrong. She shot herself.
41 then east on the Birch.
And then the bullet hit him, ricocheted
Further
and hit
time is
him.
going to be on tag 5.
She shot herself, and then she shot him and grazed him in the head.
One
With-
law enforcement vehicle. 2 patients at this time.
Unclear. AMR was sitting 2.
You guys have your Bearcat on the way, or I can go grab ours? We're clear.
You're on dispatch.
Jen, she was telling the dispatch she was going to kill herself.
From
essentially.
Merrick Wall.
No injuries to officers. I agree, Miss Kelly.
Any county unit, city's asking if we need a Bearcat.
Yes.
I agree, Doomhead. She called 911.
Eric, just out of clear.
Dispatch said it.
5202, they do not need a Bearcat.
Jackie Blue, we could argue and say, why did she break him out of jail? None of it makes sense.
Dispatch, can you advise if they need a negotiator?
They're asking for a hostage negotiator, and here they say no.
Any county unit, do you need a negotiator?
Negative, we do not need a negotiator.
Negative, he said.
Five engine 5.
Scope range is 5.
Can you advise any patient status?
2 patients, one is still trapped in the vehicle at this time. We have another who's stable, alert, and oriented, who has a bullet wound grazed to the head, but it's in stable condition.
Bullet wound grazed to the head. They had him out of the vehicle. There was one still in the vehicle. That was her. We know that Vicky has passed.
6-2 and after 5. 2-2-0, the female out of the vehicle, guns no longer in her hand.
On female is out of the vehicle. You say weapon in her hand?
Longer in her hand.
Both are out of the vehicle at this time.
dispatch. We advise AMR if the second patient's out of the vehicle. Unresponsive at this time.
Unresponsive at this
Clear.
time. Second person is out of the vehicle, unresponsive. That's Vicky. She was mortally wounded.
6.
3 out of 6.
I still hearing some emergency vehicles. If it's medics, we can keep them running hot, but any LEOs can probably slow down.
I'm clear. Our medics clear to enter when they get there.
He's telling the medics to slow down.
Yeah, en route to the pursuit. Everything's code.
Thank you, Schmitty,
7
for
to
the super
Baumgart.
chat.
Dispatch, I need one county or somebody to make contact with Anchor Industries to have one representative come to the scene.
I'm clear. Any unit? Three out of 6.
I'm still hearing some emergency vehicles. If it's medics, we can keep them running hot, but any LEOs can probably slow down.
He's telling all the law enforcement officers
I'm clear.
to
Our
slow
medics
down.
clear to enter when they get there.
He's telling everyone to slow down.
Yeah, en
It's
route
under
to the
control.
pursuit. Everything's code.
The reason they say that is so nobody else gets hurt. So they told everyone to slow down. Everything's under control.
Somebody let me know if we need to secure anything at the Motel 6.
If we have any units at the Motel 6.
That's where it originated, folks. Melissa, thank you for the super
Hold
chat.
on for 1 second. I might be able to solve that one for Motel 8. They put me on scene there at 41 Motel.
Yeah, she shot.
Put you on scene at 41 Motel.
She shot herself in the head, and
3 David 208. City's
and-
got somebody on their way there now.
and it hit him as well because he
Not
was
out here
sitting
in the
right next
county.
to her.
Looking at your car.
Yeah, the gig was up. She didn't tell police to slow down. The dispatch was told by a police officer on the scene to slow further units coming so they didn't hurt themselves racing to a scene that's already under control. Capiche? I hope everyone understands that. So they told responding units, don't rush to get here because we got this. It's done. Everything's over. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you. Medics and law enforcement officers to slow down. Yeah, you could clearly hear it on the replay. Straight in front of the camera is the car. It's in a little ravine, and it's rolled over on the side, and it's damaged heavily on the side because it was rammed by one of the U.S. Marshals. See those Marshal vehicles with the lights flashing here? The 2 Ram trucks, well, 3 Ram trucks, they barreled them in to that ravine, knocked them over. And they stopped the pursuit. They were going excess of 70 miles per hour. So these U.S. Marshals did the right thing, and they rammed them. There's rams on the front of those trucks. There's ram bars, and they took them out. Ram bars on the Ram trucks. So that's where we're at with this right now. Again, self-inflicted gunshot wound, fragmentation or ricochet or in and out from her head and hit him in the head as well. But his wounds, not life-threatening. How ironic is that? She succumbs to her own self-inflicted gunshot wound. He survives. Again, you play with fire, you get burned. And none of this made sense from the beginning, So I think that's all we have from the scanner audio. I'm just going to make sure. So give me a second. Just want to make sure we heard it all. Yes, that's everything. Now I'm just going to show quickly this map. And it's going to this map on the scanner audio. And I want to just say thank you to Tracy, my good friend Tracy, for sending that to me. So let me share this screen with you fellas and ladies. Wait a minute. Where did it go? Where is it? Ah, here it is. Okay. Miss Wolf, thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, $50. Thank you so much for that. Let me just go back because I think I missed some. Oh, wow. Sherilyn Schofner sends in a super chat and says, oh my God, she went into this thing knowing she wouldn't survive it. Shaking my head. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Ed Moskowitz and Julie, thank you, DutyRon. Always professional, platinum, and persevering. Amen. And thank you. And congratulations to your daughter on her graduation. She's going to be something else. So God bless her, and tell her that DutyRon is very proud, as you guys are. So all my best to your daughter. Here's the where did the other super chat go? Thank you, Miss Wolf 49.99. Call it $50. Thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, Diane, no brainer, exactly. All right, so this is the audio, but what I wanted to show you here is I'll go full screen with it. So this is the map where things originated. It was 17 minutes, 8.3 miles. It originated here and ended up at the top. Let me take the branding off so you can see it. Hold on, let me take the DutyRon branding off. Okay, so the chase went from here on Interstate 41, straight up as my cursor's going, past the Motel 41, up here into Birch Road, and hooked up and around and wound up right here. So this is where it all ended. And this was the final route for Vicky White, final moments of her life. And she took her own life, as we know. Again, prayers, thoughts, positive vibes to her mom. Her mother's going to be really hurting. So we send her mom strength because she had nothing to do with it. So it's very sad situation. But, you know, you make silly decisions. You know, and I want a Monday morning quarterback anything. But yeah, this was not going to end well, and I knew it. I'm thankful that no human life was lost. Innocent civilians, police, fire, EMS, you know, shop workers, anybody. You know, I was worried about convenience store clerks. I'm just so happy that no innocent lives were lost in this. So, let's see. Do I have something? Okay. Yeah, I wanted to show you this, even though this is a moot point at this point. It really doesn't mean anything, but I definitely wanted to show you this because this is pretty interesting. The different mug shots of Casey White over the course of his arrests. I don't know if anybody has seen this, but I thought it would be relevant to show you this. By a show of hands, who wants to see these mugshots, or should we pass on this? I think it's will be interesting to see the different transformations. We saw how skinny he was in that photo at the car wash, and just earlier today, I was telling everybody that's definitely him. I know that's him. I know because I've looked at so many mugshots and have searched. I worked in the fugitive enforcement division for over a decade. And that was just all I did was hunt down evil people like this. I hunted people every day. Every day I went to work. So I kind of knew. I bet my pension with somebody in the comment section. I said, I bet my pension that is him. So let's look at the different faces of evil. Let's take a quick look at that. Happily caffeinated couple, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Thank you for your tireless dedication. I'm tired. You can hear my voice. I am exhausted right now, and I got to go to bed really soon. So we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes. So let's check this out. Oh, okay. Here we go. The many faces of Casey White. And it's just going to transition through the different ones. Some of them he looks very evil in. Jackie. Look at that one, man. That last one was really evil. Where did that go? This one here. Look at that. Shit. So there we go. Let me see if I saved one more thing for you guys. What is this?
In Indiana, saying that the U.S. Marshals Task Force intercepted the couple, actually collided with them to end the pursuit. Can you talk about just how this search ended?
Yes, I can. We developed information through
Marshals Martin Keeley and Chad Hunt. Marshal Keeley, law enforcement in Indiana is saying that the U.S. Marshals Task Force intercepted the couple, actually collided with them to end the pursuit. Can you talk about just how this search ended?
Yes, I can. We developed information these suspects were in the Indiana area and that they were possibly staying at a local hotel. Surveillance was established on that facility. A short time later, Vicki White came out of the hotel. She was wearing a wig. The two suspects got into a vehicle. The rolling surveillance continued. We asked for assistance. And a short time later, there was a chase, a vehicle chase, and the suspect wrecked. The car rolled over.
Did you hear what the U.S. Marshals supervisor, we saw him in Alabama, make one of the first things? He said she had a wig on. And maybe that wig was purchased in that adult store, right? Maybe she went into that adult store and purchased that wig that she was wearing.
And we approached the vehicle to get the two suspects out. We got Casey White out, and he immediately announced that. And a short time later, there was a White came out of the hotel. She was wearing a wig. The two suspects got into a vehicle. The rolling surveillance continued. We asked for assistance. And a short time later, there was a chase, a vehicle chase, and the suspect wrecked. The car rolled over. And we approached the vehicle to get the two suspects out. We got Casey White out, and he immediately announced that that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it.
Marshal Hunt, when we last spoke on Friday evening, you said that
as soon as he got out of the car, the first thing he thought to say was, "She shot herself, not me. I didn't do it." Interesting, right? That he wasn't really concerned that she just killed herself. He was more concerned about getting blamed for it.
And we approached the vehicle to get the two suspects out. We got Casey White out, and he immediately announced that that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it.
Marshal Hunt, when we last spoke,
and he immediately announced that that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it.
He didn't say his wife. I think he said Miss White. Let's listen again.
Approached the vehicle to get the two suspects out. We got Casey White out, and he immediately announced that that his wife had shot herself in the head.
He did say
and
wife.
He didn't do it.
He did say wife.
Marshal Hunt, when
he did say wife. That third time confirmed it for me. Wow. Okay.
we last spoke,
Listen, I misspeak sometimes when I'm on a live stream. You know, that was a live interview. So
on Friday evening, you said that based on your experience with these types of manhunts, these individuals don't usually get away with their escape plan. Do you have any information about the tip that led to today's apprehension?
absolutely, Vecro. Thank you.
What this was a lot of good investigative work by the United States Marshal Service of the Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force and the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force. Our investigators, we were able to locate a vehicle that they purchased down in Tennessee after the orange Ford Edge was located. We were able to subsequently locate that vehicle in a car wash up in Evansville, Indiana. And from that, our teams, along with the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force, were able to put some additional information together that led us to the hotel that Marshal Keeley was speaking about.
And Marshal Keeley, you were saying Vicky White, it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to Mr. White. The county sheriff in Indiana said the wounds were very serious. Do you know when this occurred? I mean, was this while the chase was going on, after the car had wrecked?
Thank you, Stacy Slay, for the $50 super chat. She says, "Hi, Ron. Great job as always. Back to blue." Hey, love it. Thank you. Much love and respect to you, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Is it clear to you exactly when she may have shot herself in the head or got shot in the head?
It's not clear to us. And I want to point out also that to our knowledge, they're not married. But again, Casey White announced immediately that his wife had shot herself in the head.
Okay, so there's some clarification. The U.S. Marshals, head honcho said, "We know that they're not married, but when he did get out of the car, he in fact stated, 'My wife shot herself in the head.'" Interesting.
Shot in the head?
It's not clear to us. And I want to point out also that to our knowledge, they're not married. But again, Casey White announced immediately that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it. So we don't know the exact moment that occurred.
Maybe they got married.
And Marshal Hunt, was it that they both?
Maybe in that little short time that they were on the run, they got married. I don't know how, but I don't know. I wouldn't think too hard into that one. I know people will.
Purchased a car, or did somebody else purchase it and they stole it?
The information that we have right now, Anderson, is that they both collectively purchased, the Ford Edge, the blue F-150, and ultimately this vehicle that they were located in today.
And Marshal Hunt, the surveillance of Casey White from a car wash.
Using all of her money to purchase these vehicles because he didn't have a pot to piss in.
In Indiana was taken almost a week ago on Tuesday, May 3rd. It's hard to believe they stayed in the same area for this long. Why do you think they chose to stay in Evansville? I mean, is it just, do suspects just try to lie low somewhere?
Good night, Josie.
Unfortunately, we don't have that information right now. Hopefully, when we have a chance to speak with Casey, maybe we can, obtain some of that information. Unfortunately, we had no information that they had any relatives or associates in the area, but we do know that they intended to stay in the Evansville area for a period of time.
And Marshal Keeley, the local sheriff in Alabama, said tonight that Casey White's going to eventually be brought back there and will stay in a cell by himself with handcuffs and shackles on. What measures are authorities likely to take now to make sure he stays in custody and can be transported safely?
Good effing question. A good effing question.
Bueller?
Yeah. I can't see him going back to that county jail, but I have a funny feeling that he is going to go back there because he's got to get arraigned. You don't go to prison until you go. He's going to get arraigned on the charges, and then they're going to send him to prison because he's already been sentenced to 75 years. So that's what's going to happen.
It's my understanding from the sheriff that when he's returned, Casey White's returned to Alabama, they will process him. There'll be an arraignment in Lauderdale County, and then he will be housed in another facility. And I'm sure it'll be maximum in terms of the security level.
Yeah.
And did Marshal Keeley, did you know that they had that? Did they have enough cash on them to purchase those vehicles, all those vehicles?
We know that they had somewhere between $65,000 and $90,000 cash. We know that the first vehicle that was purchased, the pickup truck, that they paid $6,000 for that vehicle. It was purchased from an individual who had a truck for sale on his property, close to his home. So we don't know how much of the money that they used over the period of time that they were on the run.
And was that the money that she got from selling her home? Because I understand her home sold for $95,000, which was well below the market value.
Yeah, that's correct. We know that she received the $95,000 from the home, again below the market value. She also withdrew funds from various bank accounts. She discontinued her credit card also.
Thank you.
Marshal Hunt, just, I mean, looking back on this, how does this compare to, to other kind of manhunts?
So like I said previously, I think on your show, Anderson, no two manhunts are alike. But thankfully for the United States Marshal Service, we have this rapidly advancing manhunt program, and we evaluate, some of these past cases that we've had that presented challenges to us. And so from that, we just, lean on our, past experiences, the support from our headquarters, and every personnel and tipster out there that was able to give information, really kind of put all this together.
Let me just say something about the U.S. Marshals, United States Marshals, Northeast Division. I've worked with them alongside of them, and they are second to none, hands down, the best. You do not want them searching for you, because wherever you go, they're going to find you. I'm telling you, these guys and girls are unbelievable. They are amazing. And they did a great job, and they do it on countless cases that we never hear about. So kudos to the men and women of the U.S. Marshal Service.
Cases that we've had that presented challenges to us. And so from that, we just, lean on our, past experiences, the support from our headquarters, and every personnel and tipster out there that was able to give information, really kind of put all this together.
Yeah. Well, Chad Hunt, Martin Keeley, I so appreciate your time tonight and appreciate the work you do, not just on this case, but always. So thank you so much. Joining me now is former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker and former FBI Deputy Director and CNN Senior Law Enforcement Analyst Andrew McCabe. Andrew, how surprising to you? I mean, not so much that they were ultimately caught, because it seemed obvious that at some point they would be caught. They kind of stood out, but that they were able to purchase 3 separate vehicles.
Yeah, it's really interesting, Anderson. It's maybe reflective of the fact that at the end of the day, cash talks, right? So they were maybe unique from other manhunts we've seen lately, in that they were walking around with anywhere from $60,000 to $95,000 in their pocket, and to roll up to somebody's house who's trying to sell a pickup truck, basically on his front lawn or near there too, and to be able to offer that person cash to walk away with the car is a pretty strong incentive to do that deal. But it is, it's getting harder every year to pull these things off successfully, with the ubiquitous nature of video surveillance and the ability of the media and, quite frankly, social media to get that sort of intelligence out to the public in a real-time manner. These things are harder and harder for fugitives to pull off.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, to Andrew's point, the fact that according to law enforcement, a tip is what helped lead to this arrest, and there were a number of tips over time. How often is that the way the fugitives are captured in the end?
Well, in a high-profile case like this, I mean, it's a pretty high percentage. It's probably up in the 90s. I mean, the Marshal Service did get a lot of help from the public, it sounds like here. And, there's a lot of ironies here. They had a plan. They obviously planned this thing out pretty well, but they didn't seem to have a destination. They were at a hotel. They were being surveilled at the hotel, is my understanding. And you would thought they would have gone to ground pretty quickly, given the publicity. They were probably watching the news shows, getting on the internet, getting access to the information real time. So one of the most shocking things about this is that they were, they got outside the hotel, or they were moving about instead of just holding up somewhere for 30, 45 days with all that cash. That wouldn't have been a big problem renting a place.
Yeah, Andrew, did it surprise you that they took the risk of staying in a hotel?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Chris. I mean, it's almost confounding that they didn't take that money in the vehicles they were able to procure and head straight, for the border, just to keep moving, staying ahead of law enforcement's ability to track their movements. That's the best advantage you have, the advantage of time as the escaped convict.
So someone asked, what's the difference between U.S. Marshals and the FBI? Well, the FBI, is the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The United States Marshals, their duties are protecting federal judiciary and apprehending federal fugitives. So if someone commits a crime in, say, the state of New York and leaves and goes to Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, law enforcement locally cannot apprehend and take the fugitives who commit felonies and cross state lines without the U.S. Marshals. And they also, are in charge of finding justice, finding fugitives that are trying to flee justice, So they are, again, the premier arm of law enforcement. They've been in existence for over 200 years. So U.S. Marshals is no joke. These guys and girls do not mess around. And, again, look them up, look into them, look at what they do. I've worked with them. We have gone out with the U.S. Marshals Task Force and hunted down folks who were fugitives from justice from the state of New York. So, yeah.
And they frittered that advantage away by holing up in a hotel, someplace where they could easily be spotted and recognized, and then be the subject of law enforcement surveillance.
Chris, I mean, what do you make of Vicky White's role in all of this?
They purchased all of the vehicles legally. None of them were stolen. So the stolen red truck in Alabama that we talked about earlier today, and that everybody thought was him stealing it out of that hotel's parking lot, was not them, as I suspected.
Yeah, there's another irony there. I mean, this is not terribly unusual that you have this guard falling in love with a prisoner who probably groomed her over a period of time, got himself transferred to that facility just to work with her or be able to collude with her on this escape. But she's you would have thought that he would have been the one to kill himself. He's the one that said he was not going to be taken alive. His attorney mentioned that he can't function out in the public, that he can't, without his meds, he's dysfunctional. So he obviously needed her. That you would think someone with law enforcement experience, assistant director of corrections in that county, would have thought a little bit further down the line and realized that she was dealing with someone that would eventually she would be sort of excess baggage. She obviously lost, all judgment over the last few months or so. And maybe that's not the first time that's happened. She's lost and lonely and she found somebody.
All right. So this is how rumors start. And Casey was not driving the car. Vicky White was driving. Casey was the passenger. Again, people just getting caught up on the wrong information. If you listen to the press conference here, you'll know that that's not a true statement. So that's how things get misconstrued. Fake book and people talking on the internet. Just watch these press conferences and you'll know exactly what the deal is. But yeah, there was nothing. He was not driving the car. It was her. 100%. So let me get back on the screen. So that's what we have. There's really not much more on this. And again, tomorrow, when they do the press conference, I'll cover that live so you guys can see it. I'll show this again real quick, just the beginning of this, and then we'll wrap it up.
Involved with fugitives apprehension, U.S. Marshals Martin Keeley and Chad Hunt. I'm joined now by two U.S. Marshals involved with fugitives apprehension, U.S. Marshals Martin Keeley and Chad Hunt. Marshal Keeley, law enforcement in Indiana is saying that the U.S. Marshals Task Force intercepted the couple, actually collided with them to end the pursuit. Can you talk about just how this search ended?
Yes, I can. We developed information that these suspects were in the Indiana area and that they were possibly staying at a local hotel. Surveillance was established on that facility. A short time later, Vicky White came out of the hotel. She was wearing a wig. The two suspects got into a vehicle. The rolling surveillance continued. We asked for assistance. And a short time later, there was a vehicle chase, and the suspect wrecked. The car rolled over, and we approached the vehicle to get the two suspects out. We got Casey White out, and he immediately announced that that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it.
Marshal Hunt, when we last spoke on Friday evening, you said that based on your experience with these types of manhunts, these individuals don't usually get away with their escape plan. Do you have any information about the tip that led to today's apprehension?
Said what this was a lot of good investigative work by the United States Marshal Service of the Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force and the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force. Our investigators, we were able to locate a vehicle that they purchased down in Tennessee after the orange Ford Edge was located. We were able to subsequently locate that vehicle in a car wash up in Evansville, Indiana. And from that, our teams, along with the Great Lakes Regional Fugitive Task Force, were able to put some additional information together that led us to the hotel that Marshal Keeley was speaking about.
And Marshal Keeley, you were saying Vicky White, it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to Mr. White. The county sheriff in Indiana said the wounds were very serious. Do you know when this occurred? I mean, was this while the chase was going on, after the car had wrecked? Is it clear to you exactly when she may have shot herself in the head or got shot in the head?
It's not clear to us. And I want to point out also that to our knowledge, they're not married. But again, Casey White announced immediately that his wife had shot herself in the head and that he didn't do it. So we don't know the exact moment that occurred.
And Marshal Hunt, was it that they...
Okay, but I want to stop it right there, because on the scanner audio, we hear them say she's on the phone with 911, said she has the gun and the finger on the trigger up to her head. So she actually called and stated what she was doing to the dispatch. We listened to that audio, go back earlier and listen to the replay, and you'll hear it. Genlo, you asked me what is happening to Casey White right now. He's in the hospital, probably getting medical attention for the gunshot graze to the head, and he'll be treated and released, and then he will be presented in court in Indiana for an extradition hearing. And if he waives his extradition hearing, there will be no hearing, and then he will be immediately extradited as soon as possible. They say within a reasonable amount of time, he will be brought back from Indiana to Lauderdale County. He'll be arraigned on the prison break and various charges, and then will be sent to, after court, to a secure facility. So I'm assuming that that secure facility is not going to be Lauderdale County Jail. That's what I can say. So there you go, Genlo. That's the answer to that. Tier Talk with Anthony Ganji. Thank you so much for a super chat. Guys, I got to get to bed. So again, I was saying to Ed today on the live, this ending is actually the best case scenario. We don't like that she shot herself and self-inflicted gunshot wound. We don't like that part of it, but no civilians were injured, no innocent people, no law enforcement, and no first responders, ambulance, EMS. Nobody was hurt responding to that location. We heard them on the citizens on the scanner audio to tell all the law enforcement to slow down. So that was good tactics on the half of the officers that were at the location. They didn't want anybody rushing to get there. So they give full disclosure. Everything is under control. Everybody could slow down and respond safely. And that was a good thing. So hope you guys enjoyed this coverage. I'm going to wish everybody a good Monday evening or wherever you are, if it's Tuesday. Again, Vicky White, self-inflicted gunshot wound. Casey White in custody, will be brought back, waiving his extradition. If he doesn't waive it and fights it, which I doubt he will, then that process will take a little longer. He'll be brought back down to Alabama, and we will cover every ounce of this case. So thank you to all the super chatters, the replay viewers, and if I can ask everybody that's here right now, please give this video a thumbs up. Like it, share it, subscribe to this channel, and please engage with us. Leave me and Ed comments down below. Jen, good to see you. We love to continue the conversation after the live is over. Again, retired New York City Police, Fugitive Enforcement Division. I worked with the U.S. Marshals up here in the Northeast, the task force. These men and women, when I heard they were on this and I knew they were going to be on it, I knew that they were going to get these two. But I was definitely worried that she was going to be taken out. So I was wrong about that. My feeling was that he was going to take her out, and he didn't do that. She took herself out. All right, guys, much love and respect from Crime Time with DutyRon. Thank you to the replay viewers, channel members, Patreon supporters, moderators, replay viewers, new viewers, everybody here. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are tremendous. So good night from New York City. See you on the next one. And let me know what you think of the replay and how we set up the audio with the video playing. Let me know if you like that. We'll talk to you soon. Peace from DutyRon. Thank you. Good night.